Hello, I'm Victor Kim, the Principal Clerk of the General Assembly of the Presbyterian Church in Canada, and I welcome you to this video for those of you who are going to be commissioners to the upcoming 2024 General Assembly of our church. I want to thank you for your commitment to being a commissioner for this upcoming assembly. It's really an important time for us to gather together as we are guided by the Holy Spirit, as we listen, as we discern together, as we debate together, as we deliberate together, and as we make decisions together for our denomination, for all of us as Presbyterians here in Canada. So thank you for taking the time to come to the assembly, and thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I want to share some things from the website of the Presbyterian Church in Canada, which will give you the information that you need to be best prepared as a commissioner to our General Assembly. So let me share my screen with you. So you'll see now on the screen the homepage of the Presbyterian Church in Canada's website, and the website address is presbyterian.ca. You'll see that up here, presbyterian.ca. And on that website homepage, you'll go to where it says Our Ministry, and you click that, and on the drop-down menu, click on the General Assembly Office. And this will take you to the homepage of the General Assembly Office, and there you'll see the area for the 2024 General Assembly. Click on that, and that'll open up the General Assembly page for 2024. You'll find some information on this page, including information about the nominee for moderator for the 24 General Assembly, Reverend Dr. Patricia Dutcher-Walls. You can read about Pat here. There's some other information here for the upcoming assembly. But where I want you to pay special attention to would be this area right here, reports, information, and forms for the General Assembly. And there's a little highlighted blue section here, this link. Click on that link, and that'll take you to this page, which is called the Reports, Information, and Forms for the General Assembly. This is going to be a very, very important page for those of you who are coming as commissioners to the General Assembly. I would invite you to bookmark this page on your laptops or other electronic devices and visit it regularly between now and the assembly, because we will be continuing to update the information that's going to be posted on this page, and all of it's going to be very important for those of you coming to the General Assembly. Currently, as you come to this information page, the very first link called Assembly Preparation Information 2024 is very important. Click on that. And what it does is it downloads here a PDF file of information. And if you click on that, it opens up this page. So it's basically a PDF of information that you'll need for the General Assembly. Please read through this. It's very important, and you need to be familiar with this information. It talks about the General Assembly. It talks about travel arrangements. It talks about how to get to Wilfrid Laurier from wherever you might be coming from. Some last-minute change telephone numbers or email information here. Also, some information here for photography at the General Assembly. We have a policy around that. Please read that. And then when you come to Wilfrid Laurier, if you need to contact someone from the Assembly office, their phone number is here, the residence number is here, and the university emergency contact number is listed here as well. Again, please read through the entire document, and it's going to be very, very important that you're familiar with this as a commissioner or as someone coming to the General Assembly. I want you to be aware that on Tuesday evening of the General Assembly, there is no General Assembly dinner. So there's no meal scheduled for Tuesday evening. It is a free evening, and commissioners are free to make meal arrangements on their own. So again, no dinner is provided on Tuesday evening. Please make your own arrangements for Tuesday's dinner. Thank you. Now, let's go back to the reports and information page here. There's other very important information here. So you'll see that the daily schedule is still to be uploaded. So that's why we want you to check back regularly. Once that's ready, it'll be uploaded. The practices and procedures, that's very interesting. You can read through that to familiarize yourselves with how the General Assembly will proceed. There is this link here called Submitting an Amendment or Additional Motion, and I'm going to be talking about that a little later in this video, so just hold on to that. We will have biographies for our ecumenical visitors posted here shortly. So again, please come and read this. What's really, really important is that we're all as informed as possible about the General Assembly as we come as commissioners. Now, the next section here is the reports of our committees. So every committee that's going to be reporting at the General Assembly will have their report here. And all of these are links to committee reports. So for example, if you were to click on the Assembly Council, it will give you a PDF. And if you click on that PDF, the full report of the Assembly Council is there for you to read. So I'm going to go back here. What I want to encourage you to do, and it's very, very important that you do this, is you read all of the committee reports. I know they're a little long in some cases, but it's really important to be fully informed about this as you come to the Assembly. So please take time to read all of these reports of the committees that will be reporting at the General Assembly. Now, there are also summaries of the reports available here, and these summaries will have a concise preamble and then the recommendations that the reports contain. And these summaries are listed. There's an English summary, a French summary, which is yet to be posted, and a Korean summary. So for example, if I click on that Korean summary, I'll get that PDF. If I click on this PDF, I'm going to get the summaries of all of the reports of all of the committees in one large PDF. And they're going to be in alphabetical order. And with the Korean and French summaries, they will be put together side by side so that you can read the translation right next to the original English version of it. And as you read through this, for example, we begin with the committee to advise with a moderator, but as you go along, the next summary will be the Assembly Council summary. So the entire summaries are put together in one large PDF. However, they're in alphabetical order. Now you're going to be getting in the next few days a much larger PDF document that's going to have all of these reports, the full reports, and they're all going to be put together on one large PDF file, and you're going to be able to download all of the reports from all of the committees on one file. But they're going to be in chronological order, meaning they're going to be in the order in which we will address them at the General Assembly. So we're not going to be going through the reports in alphabetical order as they're listed here. We're going to go through them in a different order, and that's so that we can get through the material in the best way possible. So download that large PDF that will be posted soon, that large PDF that has all of the reports of all of the committees in chronological order. Save it to your device, whether it's a laptop or an iPad or some other device. Save it so that you can access it without having to use Wi-Fi. And we ask you to do that because once we're in the gym for our meetings at Wilfrid Laurier, we want to save the capacity of the Wi-Fi system in the gym for those people that will need to access Wi-Fi in order to be able to present the reports, to communicate back and forth from motion coordinators and people that need to project things. If we need to have videos put up on the screen for our commissioners, we want to be able to save the Wi-Fi access capacity for those who need it most. So we're asking you to download the big PDF, have it saved on your device, and that way you won't need to access the Wi-Fi in the gym at Wilfrid Laurier as much as you might need to if you didn't do that. So please think about doing that. The one report here that will not be translated into other languages is the Business Committee report. And that's because the Business Committee report doesn't get written until very late because we're putting all the business together. And it doesn't give us enough time to really go through the process of getting it translated. So we hope you'll be understanding of that reality for the Business Committee report. Again, I think we've covered a lot of what's on here. There is now at the bottom here some other information. So there's other information here, and it has files regarding documents regarding a pastoral letter about Ukraine, the cutting edge of mission, and also statements on the Middle East made by the Presbyterian Church in Canada. And these are here because some of our ecumenical visitors will be talking about the church in Ukraine. We'll have a Palestinian Christian who will give us her perspective about the situation in Palestine, Gaza. And we will be presenting the Cutting Edge of Mission Award, as we do every year at the General Assembly. So we would like you to read this information for more context on each of these items. So please take time to read through that as well. Now, every commissioner is expected to attend all of the General Assembly, all of the sederents, all of the meetings. If for some reason you cannot make all of them, for example, if you have to leave for one of the meetings, one of the sederents, or if you have to leave because of some other emergency for the rest of the General Assembly, we ask that you come to these forms and click on the Leave to Withdraw form, fill it out, give it to Terry Lee Hamilton, email it to Terry Lee Hamilton before you leave so that we can acknowledge your need to withdraw from the sederent or from the rest of the General Assembly. It's really important that you do that so we can recognize that you would ask for permission to withdraw from either that one sederent or for the rest of the Assembly. Just want to encourage you to read all of this as much as possible. We are at our best when we're prepared, when we can engage with knowledge and information. And so we really encourage you to come to General Assembly as prepared as you might be. So now I'm going to take you to something that I talked about earlier, which is submitting an amendment or additional motion. Now, you'll see down here at the forms, the amendment, additional motions. This is not, there is no link here, but that's where the link's going to be active. It's not active right now because we don't want to activate this until 48 hours before the General Assembly begins, because we don't want to be inundated with people who have been for the last month thinking about amendments or additional motions that they want to send for the General Assembly. We want you to read the reports. We want you to prayerfully consider their recommendations. And we want you to think about if there are any amendments or additional motions that you might want to make. And then we want you to do that 48 hours before the Assembly begins. So that link will be activated 48 hours before the Assembly begins. But for now, we can access it through here. And I'm going to do this so I can show you exactly what you'll need to do once you're ready to submit an amendment or an additional motion. If you click that, you'll get this document. And this will take you to some information about submitting an amendment or an additional motion for the General Assembly. And what you're going to do is you're going to end up basically looking at a form that looks like this. This is a sample because it's not active. But when you click here and you click on this page here, this link right here, it's not active, so nothing's happening. But once it's activated within 48 hours, you'll get to a form that looks like this. So here, we just need you to think about your amendment or additional motion, okay? Put your name here first and last, your presbytery, your email. You need a seconder. Every motion or amendment needs a seconder, their first and last names, their presbytery, and their email. And then you've got to decide whether you're making an amendment to the amendment, an additional motion, or a motion to refer. An additional motion has to be on the topic of what is being discussed. It cannot be something that is completely irrelevant to the topic being under discussion in that report. Let's say you're making an amendment. Click on that, and then you come down here, and then when you push the arrow, click on this arrow, you'll get a drop-down menu of all of the committee reports that are being presented. Pick the one that you want, the one that's relevant to you. So maybe it's the Assembly Council, and you click on that, and then you'll also need to click on what is the recommendation that you want to amend. So look for the recommendation number, and it could be the Assembly Council, which would be ASC, and then it's dash 001, 002, whatever the number of the recommendation would be. So click on that recommendation number if you're making an amendment. And then down here, we want you to type in what it is that you want as your amendment. Now, what we don't want here is a long preamble about why you think this amendment is so important, because you'll get that opportunity once you are recognized by the moderator on the floor of the assembly. But here, we just want a very, very short, concise, clear text that says, this is my amendment, or this is my additional motion. Nothing more. And the motion coordinators who will get this, because once you're finished, you're going to hit the submit button. And once you submit this, it'll go by email to our motion coordinators who will be ready to receive these submissions. And they will check your amendments. They'll check your additional motions to make sure their polity is correct, to make sure that it makes sense. And if there's too much of a preamble, or if there's unnecessary extraneous material, they'll delete it so that we're left with just the concise language that we need to consider either an amendment or an additional motion. If you're looking to refer the motion, click on the motion to refer. Again, pick the report and pick the recommendation number, and it'll come up as a motion to refer. Now, just because you've sent this, and only send it once, please don't send it more than one time. Just because you've sent this doesn't mean that you will automatically have this pop up during that report. You're going to have to go to one of the microphones at the assembly once the committee report is being considered, and once the recommendation is being considered, get to the microphone, and then the moderator will recognize you and say, microphone 1. And then if it was me, I would say, moderator, it's Victor Kim from the Presbytery of East Toronto. I have an amendment that has been submitted to this recommendation, and I would like to move the amendment. Then our projection people will find your amendment, and they'll project it on the screen, and then we can talk about your amendment, which will have been moved and seconded. Same thing with any sort of additional motion or an amendment to the amendment. You need to get up, get on the mic, be recognized by the moderator before we see what it is that you've written. If you don't stand up, if you don't get recognized, we'll just move on, because you might have changed your mind. Your issue might have been addressed previously, and you might think, I don't need to actually get up. I don't need to move this amendment. So if you just stay where you are, we'll just keep going. Okay. So that's how you make an amendment, or an amendment to the amendment, or make an additional motion to a report. So this is an important thing that will be live and active for you 48 hours before the assembly begins. Now, back to the full screen. Yeah, again, it's really important that you plan to attend all of the sederents. If you can't fill out the leave to withdraw form, participation is so critically important. We gather together because we believe that the Spirit leads us as we discuss and discern, as we deliberate, and as we decide together as the church. So it's really, really important to be together for this time. This webpage, the General Assembly webpage with the information and the preparation information, their committee reports, it's really important. Please, again, visit it often between now and the assembly to catch up on any sort of updates that we will be posting on that page, so that, again, that we might come together with every preparation, all the preparation that we can do together. So thank you again for making a commitment to be a commissioner to this General Assembly, for taking the time to come from wherever it is that you're coming, whether it's from nearby or whether it's from far across this wonderful country of ours. I look forward to seeing you at the General Assembly, and I look forward to what God will do with us as God's people through this General Assembly. Blessings to you all. Take care.